This is the Huawei Mate 30 Pro, and with its controversies and Huawei's political issues, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to recommend this to the average user. But you're not the average user, are you? And this certainly isn't the average flagship smartphone. The Mate 30 Pro is somewhat of a forbidden fruit in the tech universe. It's something that your heart lusts after, but your brain says, no, that's a bad idea. You'll constantly tell yourself that you shouldn't buy it, and that's what makes this phone special, because you really want to. Now, I should point out that I have the Chinese unit that I reviewed, so it has a lot of bloat applications pre-installed, and it's not necessarily going to be the final version in software for Europe, if it does come out to Europe, that is. It also didn't come with Google applications pre-installed, but using the guide that we have on our website, users be warned, this could do bad things to your phone. I installed it and I was able to use Google's services and applications with the Play Store on my review unit. Physically, this thing is absolutely stunning, with its smooth curved edges, glass and metal build, thin bezels and rear camera housing. They all kind of add up to create a package that only the highest end smartphones can compete with. From some angles, granted, it does remind me of the Galaxy Note 10, but from others it's totally unique. But those unique qualities put this phone on a bit of a pedestal, in a way that you want it but you can't have it. But that means you want it more. The Waterfall Edges are arguably the most impractical part of the entire phone. They're too slippery, and Huawei's software implementation of the volume rocker is just unnecessarily finicky. The fact that you have to double tap to activate it and then slide means that not only can this be inaccurate at times, but it also prevents you from being able to adjust the volume in your pocket, and that sucks. That said, this phone does look beautiful, and without those curved sides, I don't think this phone would look anywhere near as good. Over the top? Yes. Practical? Absolutely not. And the weird thing is, Huawei took that angle and completely flipped it for the rest of the phone. Let's take the screen for example. It's not 90Hz, it's not even Quad HD, but it still looks the part and has some key advantages over the competitors' units. It provides better battery life and enables the GPU to push more frames for a smoother gaming experience, just for the sake of a drop in resolution. It looks fantastic, gets bright at just shy of 470 nits, and remains functional. Technically, statistically and objectively, it is not the best display on any phone. It's not even in the top 5, but it's one of my favourites, and that's saying something. This theme continues throughout the Mate 30 Pro, and notably in its performance stats. It's not got crazy amounts of RAM or storage, neither does it outbench all of the competition, but it's quick, responsive, and still makes me want it. I have the 4G version of the Kirin 990 here. It's not the 5G version. That will be rolling out down the line, specifically in China, and hopefully Europe. But it's not a spec monster like the ROG Phone 2, and it certainly doesn't come in cheap like the OnePlus 7T. Gaming performance was more than adequate in all of the titles I tested, and browsing through the OS felt like a breeze, although not as quick as, let's say, something with a higher refresh rate display. It's clearly not down on power, although that can be proven in benchmarks. It's just not over the top either. It's the same story with the battery. This is a 4,500 mAh cell, which isn't huge, but it gets the job done, and it can last a lot of people multiple days. Thanks to EMUI and the incredibly efficient Kirin 990, this thing lasted me a full day or more every single time I used it, and I was pretty hard on this thing in my testing. It also comes with heaps of charging tech that can keep other devices and it charged in a pinch. It's really quick, but it's nothing radically new, and I think that kind of speaks volumes about the Mate 30 Pro. Probably the biggest reason that tech enthusiasts still want this phone after all the commotion that's happened with Huawei is its camera system. The P30 Pro was and still is one of the top 5 best smartphone cameras, so the Mate 30 Pro had some pretty big shoes to fill. Did it manage it? Well, yes and no. There are new video modes here, such as the UHD 4K at 60 frames per second and slow motion at 7,680 frames per second. But there's only a 3x optical zoom instead of the 5x found in the P30 Pro. That's a bummer. You already knew that the resulting images would look just as great as the phone. We saw it last year with the Mate 20 Pro, and the Mate 30 Pro just continues to impress. It's got some stiff competition from Google, Apple and Samsung, yet I still think this is my favourite camera system. Though it's not hard to get a good image from the Mate 30 Pro, I wouldn't say that it does point and shoot any better than Apple's or Google's offerings. Where the Mate 30 Pro really shines is in its versatility. Resulting images retain great dynamic range and add a splash of colour to an otherwise dull image using the AI tool that detects what you're shooting and adjusts for it. The slightly overprocessed look isn't for everyone, but I happen to like the character of the Mate 30 Pro's photos from all three lenses. Sure, the slow motion is a bit of a party trick and you probably will only use it a few times when you first get the phone, but the camera app is world class. While we took the previous camera app that was bundled with features but looked a little bit stale and old with gross textures, and gave it a glow up. The new app is clean and modern looking, but it retains all of those modes and functionality from the previous one. In my opinion, this is the peak camera app. It doesn't get better than this. It might not be the best point and shoot camera, and it might not shoot the world's best video, that award still goes to the iPhone, but the sheer amount of versatility in this camera is why it's still my favourite of all time. There's also some kind of character from the Mate 30 Pro's camera app and experience of taking photos that makes me want to come back to it every time. It's kind of the same story with software. EMUI is definitely an acquired taste, and a lot of users have expressed their maybe negative opinions on the skin over top of Android. I happen to really like EMUI 10 and its vast array of options and features, such as double knocking for screenshots, multiple navigation options, and of course the aforementioned camera app. Again, it's not the smoothest, the fastest, the most bug-free, and it doesn't get updated as quickly as other skins, but it's just kind of special. And I guess that's kind of what the Mate 30 Pro is. At €1,000 it competes directly with the Note 10 Plus on every level, yet falls short in a number of categories, namely the display, S Pen, and software. Could I recommend it to anyone? Yes, but not everyone. Many people will be turned off by the Google issue, and the phone might not even come to Europe. They didn't announce availability here, and the pricing is a bit vague for the rest of the world. That's if it's even possible to purchase. Until the politics are figured out, the Mate 30 Pro is a phone that you want, but you can't have. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, then please do leave a like and also subscribe if you're new around here to never miss a video like this one. If you enjoyed what you saw as well, please do check out the full written article by my very talented colleague Bogdan in the video description. My name's been Ryan Thomas with Android Authority, and I'll see you later. Peace.